Fear can stop us in our tracks, keeping us from taking the steps needed to reach our goals. But the secret to progress isn't perfection, it's action. In this episode, we'll explore how to overcome fear, take consistent action, and make adjustments as you go. Let's break through that fear and keep moving forward. Welcome to Small Business Big Visibility, the podcast empowering you, adventurous small business owners, to attract your ideal customers and boost your revenue. I'm your host, Jason McKenzie. Each week, we'll explore easy to implement tools and strategies to take your business to new heights and build the lifestyle you want. If you're ready for more profits and less stress, let's get started. In the last episode, we broke down the process of turning big goals into small, actionable steps. We explored how one-time tasks and daily routines combine to create a clear path towards your vision. The goal is to make progress step by step without feeling overwhelmed. But what happens when that fear starts to creep in? Fear, it can cause us to freeze, overthink, or doubt whether we're capable of reaching our goals. This is something that stops so many people from taking the steps they've already mapped out. Even with a solid plan in place, fear has a way of making us hesitate. Today, we're tackling fear head on, whether it's fear of failure, fear of the unknown, or fear of making the wrong choice. There's a way to move past it. You don't need to have everything figured out before you start. Taking action, even imperfectly, is what leads to clarity, confidence, and momentum. Together, we'll explore how to move through fear and keep progressing towards your goals. Imagine this. You've got a dream. Maybe it's a bold business goal to expand your offerings, grow your team, or finally launch that project you've been planning in your head for months. It's exciting to think about, isn't it? I know the rush of the inspiration you feel when the vision is clear and the possibilities seem endless. But then something starts whispering in the back of your mind. What if this fails? Suddenly, that excitement turns to hesitation. You pause, and in that pause, fear sets up camp. Have you ever felt that before? Fear isn't just an emotion. It's a master manipulator, a constant saboteur of progress. It thrives on the unknown and magnifies every potential misstep until it feels safer to stay exactly where you are. But here's the truth. Staying still doesn't protect you. It only ensures that your dreams remain just that, dreams. Now, the good news is, fear's power is limited to what you give it. You can take that power back, step outside your comfort zone, and reclaim the momentum you need to move forward. So let's explore how to do that together. Now, fear itself is not inherently bad. In fact, it evolved to keep us safe from real threats. But in today's world, those physical threats have been replaced by things like launching a new product, making a hiring decision, or speaking up in a meeting. These aren't life-threatening risks, yet fear reacts as if they are. Think about it. Fear is like a well-meaning but overly cautious friend. It means well, but doesn't always get it right. It tells you to avoid stepping outside your comfort zone because that's unfamiliar territory. But the comfort zone? That's where growth goes to die. The exciting, fulfilling life you want exists just beyond its borders. And fear knows it. That's why it asks those disempowering questions. What if you fail? What if you're not ready? What will people think if you don't succeed? These questions are designed to paralyze you, but they only have as much power as you allow. What if, instead of letting fear dominate, you acknowledged it for what it is, a natural response to stepping into something new, and decide to move forward anyway? You've probably noticed that the longer you hesitate, the louder fear's voice becomes. But here's something important. Fear cannot argue with action. Movement, no matter how small, is like kryptonite to fear. When you act, you prove to yourself that you're capable even if you don't have all the answers yet. And that's where momentum begins. Here's how you can start taking action even when fear is screaming at full volume. Step one is acknowledging the fear. The first step is to stop running from fear and face it head on. Ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? What's the worst case scenario? What's the best case scenario? If you have time, you can even write these answers down. Seeing your fears on paper can be transformative. It takes them out of your head where they feel overwhelming and makes them tangible and manageable. Often, you'll find that your worst case scenario isn't as catastrophic as it feels in your mind. Step two is to break down your goal. Big goals can feel paralyzing because of their size, but every big goal is just a collection of smaller steps. If your goal is to grow your business, don't start with double revenue. Start with reach out to one new client this week or create one piece of content for my audience. When you focus on the next smallest step, fear has less room to maneuver. Small wins will build your confidence, and confidence silences fear. Step three is to take imperfect action. Perfectionism is fear's best friend. It convinces you that if you can't do something perfectly, you shouldn't do it at all. But the truth is, action doesn't have to be perfect to be effective. Think about riding a bike. Your first ride probably wasn't smooth, but you didn't stop. You adjusted, learned, and eventually got better. The same principle applies here. The sooner you take that first step, no matter how wobbly, the sooner you'll gain the clarity and confidence you need. Step four, adjust and keep moving. Action doesn't guarantee success on the first try, and that's okay. The beauty of being in motion is that you can adjust as you go. Imagine trying to steer a parked car. It's impossible. But once you're moving, even slowly, you can make course corrections and keep heading in the right direction. Failure isn't the end, it's actually part of the process. Each adjustment you make gets you a step closer to your goal. Here's a question for you. How many times has fear disguised itself as comfort? Oh, you might say, it's not the right time. I need to do more research. I'll start once I feel ready. Sound familiar? These aren't excuses, they're fear in disguise trying to keep you in your comfort zone. But staying comfortable doesn't protect you from failure, it protects you from success. Growth is inherently uncomfortable, and that's what makes it so valuable. What would happen if you reframed discomfort as a sign that you're on the right track? The next time fear whispers, "This feels risky," answer with, "That's because I'm growing." People rarely feel 100% ready, and that's okay. Readiness isn't a prerequisite for success. Action is. Every time you take a step forward, no matter how small, you're proving to yourself that you can handle the challenges ahead. And that proof builds confidence, which in turn diminishes fear. Here's the irony. Confidence doesn't come before action, it comes after. You don't need to feel brave to start, you just need to start. The bravery will follow. So ask yourself this. What's one fear that's holding you back right now? Write it down, then think of the smallest possible step you can take to move through it. Commit to taking that step today. And remember, fear is not your enemy. It's just a signal you're stepping into something bigger than you've ever done before. That's not a sign to stop. That's a sign to keep going. Remember, fear is part of the journey. You might never eliminate fear entirely, but you can learn to coexist with it. Fear doesn't have to be a roadblock. It can be a milestone, a sign that you're growing and evolving. The most successful entrepreneurs, the ones who build empires and change industries, they feel fear too. The difference is they don't let it stop them. They acknowledge it, take action anyway, and adjust as they go. Now, it's your turn. Don't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Take the smallest step you can today and then another tomorrow. Because progress doesn't happen in leaps and bounds, it happens in small, steady steps. And every step you take brings you closer to the success you're hunting for. Remember, fear loses its power when you take action. Progress comes from movement, not perfection. So take one small action today towards that goal that scares you. Whether it's sending an email, making a call, or jotting down ideas, the important thing is to move forward. Hey, if this episode resonated with you, I'd love it if you'd share it with a fellow entrepreneur and subscribe for more practical tips. Until next time, stop listening to fear, take the next step, and watch your business thrive.